Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to the new video. I'm the Casual Racing Gamer. In this video, I am hitting this one and I am hitting this one hard. The T598 versus the TGT2. I am going to give you my final opinion between the two wheels and what I think if one is worth upgrading over the other, because my last two videos, some people got triggered over my last two videos. So I'm also going to be very transparent in this video. I am going to be talking about conversations that I had with Thrustmaster, because it's so funny because people thought that, you know, and I'll have a link to the two videos that I'm talking about below. People thought that after one of my last videos that Thrustmaster reached out to me and they weren't happy with it, and I pulled the video down and came up with another video, all because Thrustmaster said they're not going to send me anything anymore. So this is such a false statement, and I'm gonna address actually the conversations I had with Thrustmaster, which is gonna hopefully, you know, let you guys know what goes on behind the scenes, and us as content creators, that we don't owe anything to these sponsors. When they send us these items to review, there's no obligation for us to be positive. There's no obligation for us to say good things about it. We can say whatever we want. These are not paid sponsorships. A paid sponsorship is when a company actually pays you. It's basically they're paying you to do an ad that, you know, at that point, you're not going to say bad things about the product. They're paying you basically to show the product, which is different than a review. That wouldn't be a review. That would be a complete ad saying, this is the product. The company wants me to show it to you guys. This is its features. You know, if you're getting paid to do that, you shouldn't be giving your opinions on a product, because at that point, they're not going to, yeah, you might love it and you might like it, but at that point, it's a paid advertisement. You're basically doing an ad. The company, the manufacturer reviews your video. They need to approve your video, and they need to be happy with what you're putting out before you can. When you just get a product, you do not have to show them anything. They do not tell you what you have to say. They might give you some information and details to know about the product itself, but you're not obligated to actually say anything. You don't have to be positive. You don't have to be negative. You don't have to be neutral. It is your free reign. You don't have to send the product back if they don't like your review. It's your product to keep. You know, one thing is, you know, if a company doesn't like the things you have to say about their product, they do have the choice to not send you future products. But you know what, to me, that's a loss on the manufacturer, right? Because we want to give our opinions. We want the community to believe in what we're telling them. And if they believe in what we're telling them, and if the manufacturer has a good product to sell, you know, they're going to want to give it to people who, you know, creators who have a community of people that actually believe in the things they're telling them. If you don't believe in things that, you know, that creators telling their audience, then, you know, people aren't going to really believe what they're saying. So it's very important for us to be truthful in these videos and in our reviews of these products. So my first initial review of the T598 was, I was underwhelmed by it, right? Coming from a TGT2 that I love, and I was straight up in my video explaining things in my first initial T598 review of things that I didn't like in the wheel, things that I was kind of shocked of what I was feeling, and how the TGT2 was just a much better feeling wheel to me. Well, you know, this is being fully transparent here. Thrustmaster sent me an email after my initial review, not because they were upset with my review or wanted me to change anything. They literally said, we saw your review and we were kind of shocked at the things that you had to say, and they wanted to make sure that my settings were correct. They said, we want you to be truthful in your review. We're not asking you to change anything. We just want to make sure that in your review, you were using the correct settings for the wheel. So, you know, with our conversation back and forth, I told them all the settings I was using, everything that they recommended, everything was like to the T of what they said. Everything was updated, newest firmware that was available at that time. Everything was updated. I also went into the whole thing of why I felt the TGT2 is so much better feeling, and just felt like such a stronger wheel of things that I felt, you know, with grip and tire and weight and weight distribution I was feeling in the wheel that I wasn't getting from the T598. So, you know, I defended things and I ended that conversation with them saying, if you have things or other ideas that I can try with the wheel, I am all for it. If you have something that I'm not doing, or you have, you know, some other setting I should change, let me know. I'll be happy to do, you know, follow-up videos. But, you know, currently that was where I stood. They responded back to me and said, we really appreciate your honesty. We are not asking you for anything else. We just wanted to make sure that you were using the correct settings, and those were your outcomes and your opinion of the wheel using those settings. So they were like, all good. Thanks for your honesty to your community. So, you know, to me as the manufacturer, you know, I want them to know the truth. I want them to know what I'm feeling, what I like, what I don't like. It's the only way to make products better. I'm not going to lie to them, and I'm not going to lie to my community. So just to double down on that, and obviously I wasn't pulling my video. They didn't want me to pull my video, and I want to be completely clear with my community, because for me, for this channel, it's not about growing my relationships with manufacturers. It's about growing my community and growing my channel. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to make friends with manufacturers of these products. It's great to receive free products, of course. I don't have to spend my own money on it and go, you know, right now I'm not making enough money on the channel, so anything I buy for the channel puts me in debt for that product. And it'll take a while for the income that I make on this channel to actually pay off any of this stuff. So it is great to receive free products, of course, but I'm not here for the free products. I don't need the free products, and I'm not doing this channel just so I can receive equipment. I'm here because I enjoy sim racing, and I enjoy giving my opinion to folks, and, you know, letting them know what I think of equipment. And hopefully, you know, I want you to put that trust in me when I'm telling you things that I feel about a product. Now, the way I doubled down on that is I then followed up with another video not too long after my initial review saying, hey, I am going back to my TGT2. I like it better. The T598 is not where it needs to be to replace my TGT2. Now, obviously, if I cared what Thrustmaster thought about, you know, the things that I said, and if I really wanted to worry more about my relationship with them over my truth to my community, I would have never put out that video. I put out that video because I'm being truthful. I was going back to my TGT2. I liked it better. It felt better. The T598 was not where I needed it to be for me to actually enjoy it and feel confident in using it over my TGT2. Again, and since that first conversation on my first release of the T598 video, I haven't heard from Thrustmaster after that. I have no idea if they'll ever send me another product again. And if they don't. If they do, I'm all here to review it. I'm gonna be completely honest again. I like their products. I'm obviously still in their ecosystem. So then I released a video not too long ago saying of the things that I was really shocked at the way the T598 was released, you know, with no load cell pedals, you can't buy the base only currently. You know, Gran Turismo 7 did not support the wheel in the actual application itself. You know, I made a video where the wheel, I had problems with the wheel, and I haven't used the wheel for weeks before that video, because I went back to my TGT2 and I went over the things that I didn't like about it again. Well, some of you guys started leaving comments in that video saying, hey, did you update the firmware? The firmware definitely made a difference. It definitely made the wheel feel better. I definitely noticed changes. And you guys started pouring in with those comments. So I was like, hey, you know what? I need to be fair here. I didn't think that firmware was going to actually help the wheel itself. It was supposed to just help with some oscillation issues in menus and stuff. I didn't think it was going to change anything else. But, you know, you guys were telling me to do it, and I wanted to be fair to my audience, and you know, again, I wasn't worried about being fair to Thrustmaster. I wanted to be fair to my audience, because I want you know, I'm giving you guys opinions on products, so I want my latest video to represent the latest thing. So you guys are telling me, hey, the firmware definitely updated and fixed this wheel. So I went out there, I updated the firmware after that video released, I tested it out. As I'm testing it out, I was like, wow, there's definitely a difference. I'm enjoying this. I privatized that first video I put out because I'm like, okay, I don't think that represents what I'm feeling right now, and I feel like I need to redo a video. I raced a little bit more. I used a couple different tracks, different cars, and I was like, wow, this wheel definitely feels so much better. They added this inertia setting in there that's supposed to help with oscillation, but supposedly, I guess it also helps with the feeling of the wheel. So I was actually feeling more resistance in the wheel. I was feeling the wheel was like, I was feeling more of the weight of the car, where before, when I was exiting and entering into turns, low mid speed, when I'm throttling and I'm giving gas coming out of a turn, I felt like the wheel was kind of just dead. There was just such a limp feeling, like there was just nothing there. It was just emptiness, and I couldn't feel my tires. Well, now I was actually coming out, ripping out of a turn, you know, full throttle, and I felt resistance in the wheel. I felt weight in the wheel. I felt like, wow, I can now feel the difference between my traction in my tires and no traction, loss of grip when I have grip. It was definitely a huge difference in feeling to me. So I was like, wow, I need to put out a new video and explain that, hey, you know what? This wheel has improved. I'm actually in having fun, and I definitely felt like something was updated and fixed. So, you know, with the firmware update. So I was agreeing with you guys. So I put out that new video, and I know, you know, people saw that video prior to it, and I was like, hey, you know, I removed that video because I think this new video is going to represent more of, you know, what I'm feeling. I updated the firmware, and I want to be more truthful with what I'm feeling now. And I think some things in that last video, you know, don't really represent how I feel about the wheel after this firmware update. So then, you know, people were reaching it thinking like, oh, Thrustmaster reached out to me and they were upset and they're not going to send me products anymore and blah, 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 blah. And I just want to be transparent. That was not the case. I 100% believe that after this firmware update, this wheel feels much better. It's still on my rig. I used it the last couple days. It's still on there, and it feels good. Like, I can use the wheel now. The wheel was I just couldn't use it over my TG T2 before. So where am I going with this? Well, I'm going to answer the big question, and people are going to still ask, is it better than the TG T2? Do I need to run out and buy it? And I still feel like if you have the TG T2, you are in good hands. That wheel is great. Unless you have a problem with the TG T2, or if there's something you don't like about it, no, I don't think you need to buy the T598. The T598 is not going to be stronger. It's not going to offer the same amount of torque. Yes, it has an overdrive, you know, feature that can you know, push the torque to 10 Newton meters from 5, but that's not constant. So it, you know, it'll just give you a couple like heavy jerks here and there when it needs to. But the TG T2 gives you strong torque, and I think it actually battles more above its weight because of it being a belt-driven wheel. I think it adds more to the strength of the wheel, where the direct drive wheel just feels more smooth, and I just think you don't have as much like counterforce like a belt drive wheel does. The TG T2 is a great wheel. I still think the transducer is one of the best features of that thing when you're driving in GT7. It just makes the whole immersion great. So the T598, it's going to give you something different. It's going to feel different than a belt drive wheel. You know, some people might like it better. You know, it's just my opinion. I can't tell you what you're going to like, but I don't think it's a better wheel. The TG T2 is a great wheel, and I don't think like you're going to go to a T598 because you're like, oh my God, I need this upgrade, right? Unless you don't like the TG T2. But if you like the TG T2, I don't see why you would need to go to something less powerful. Now, if the T598 was released as an 8 Newton meter wheel and it gave you the power and the torque that matched the TG T2, then yeah, I think the direct drive wheel and the smoothness does feel nice, as long as it has the power to back it up. But I will say, after the firmware update, the wheel feels much stronger now. It definitely feels better. I feel grip, I feel resistance, I feel weight in the car, and I have no problem, you know, using this wheel now, and I have no problem recommending this wheel. I already said before, it's better than, you know, all your lower end wheels that you get at gear driven or the lower end like the T300. But like, this really sealed the nail in the coffin, as it's going to be much better after this firmware update than those wheels. Like, without a doubt, it is definitely going to be a nice upgrade from the lower end Logitech wheels, the lower end Thrustmaster wheels. So that's where my feelings are on the T598. So before we go out here, just if you wanted to know my settings, I basically have everything turned up to the max. Some things I have inertia up on high. I do have the friction on medium. I think that also adds a nice little weight to the wheel. So I do have those two settings on. I don't have anything on damper. Damper is completely zero. The spring, that gets automatically set, so don't touch that. But everything else, I pretty much have raised up to the max with the original Thrustmaster recommended settings, and those are just the new settings and things I have to change there. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys can now see, you know, how I handle my review videos, what goes on behind the scenes, and communications I have with the actual manufacturer, who is not influencing what I actually say in my videos. So if you guys want to thumb it up, that would be awesome. subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. We out of here. Peace.